Good evening and welcome. It's been 14 days since the Indian Air Force went deep inside Pakistan and bombed a Jaish camp. India Pakistan has been denying any casualties, any damage, saying nothing happened on the ground. No Indian television team has been allowed anywhere near Balakot. What you're about to see on India Today over the next 1 hour is the first piece of evidence coming straight out of Pakistan. India Today's special investigation team has been able to record conversations with local Maulvis in Balakot at the local mosque, with Jaish commanders who are talking about how financing is still going into their accounts, and with local police officers who describe exactly what happened that night, which they called the Qayamat Ki Raat. This is an India Today special investigation, the Balakot tapes.
Here is the real proof, Balakot proof that puts all doubts to rest. India's airstrike hit the Pakistan army.
कितने लोग शहीद हुए होंगे हिंदुस्तानी हमले में?
मैंने देखा है 4-5 बंदे शहीद हुए पाकिस्तान आर्मी के.
India's airstrike shook up Pakistan.
आप वहीं थे जब जब्बा में हमला हुआ है?
जी बिल्कुल. ये सुबह 3 बजे का वक्त था और इतनी धमाके से इतनी जोरदार आवाज थी कि बेहिसाब लोग अपने घरों से बाहर निकल आए थे कि एक कयामत सुगरा का मंजर था.
India Today exposes Pakistan's sham. Pakistan gives a free run to Jaish-e-Mohammed.
हाँ, नंबर लिखवा दीजिए मुझे, अकाउंट नंबर जैश का.
जैश का तो अकाउंट नंबर नहीं है कोई भी.
हाँ, जिस
अपना साथी है वो मैं आपको लिखवा देता हूँ.
हाँ आप
आप से इसका मैं दे दूंगा साथी को यहाँ.
Sham crackdown on Jaish-e-Mohammed. Terrorists are still getting donations.
तो आप ये पैसे पहुंचा देंगे ना जैश को?
Balakot tapes. India Today special investigation.
Soon after the Indian Air Force bombed Balakot, a message went out from the general headquarters of the Pakistani army in Rawalpindi to everyone in any position of authority around the Balakot area, telling them to stay absolutely silent and not utter a word on the damage done by the Indian Air Force. This made our life very difficult because the India Today special investigation team was calling up multiple people inside Balakot to get an account of what really happened that fateful night. Everyone had been asked to zip up, so it took a lot of effort to penetrate that web of silence and actually establish by speaking to local police officials near Balakot, by speaking to local Maulvis at the mosque in Balakot, to understand what happened the night the Indian Air Force crossed the line of control, crossed POK, went into Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and bombed Balakot. Listen to the first voices emerging from inside Pakistan. This is an India Today special investigation, the Balakot tapes.
When Indian jets bombed Jaish-e-Mohammed's targets in retaliation for Pulwama, Pakistan hit back with a fog of misinformation. From doctored pictures to playing fast and loose with facts, to blocking international press, from the Jabba terror camp that India hit at Balakot, state and non-state actors left the international community bewildered. But India Today's special investigation team has penetrated the deception. Taking the cover of Pakistani military intelligence, our special investigative team reached out to locals in Balakot and Pakistani officials in POK for answers. Mohammad Naeem is a mosque worker in Balakot. When we called him, he confirmed his identity and location.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
वालेकुम सलाम. नूर मस्जिद से बात कर रहा हूँ, शेरी.
ये जबरा के आसपास ही है मस्जिद?
जी
ये खैबर पख्तून में जबरा के आसपास है मस्जिद ये?
जी जी।
Naeem lived close to the Jabba village in Balakot, where the Indian Air Force struck a Jaish-e-Mohammed camp late last month. Asked about the casualties from the air raids, he discloses that Pakistani soldiers were also killed in the Air Force strikes. Listen in.
कितने लोग शहीद हुए होंगे हिंदुस्तानी हमले में?
मैंने देखा है 4-5 बंदे शहीद हुए हैं पाकिस्तान आर्मी के।
पाकिस्तान
तो बाकी का मुझे मालूम है जी, कोई आर्मी के कोई वहां के रहायशी थे।
पाकिस्तानी आर्मी के लोग शहीद हुए हैं
जी, आर्मी के हुए।
लेकिन ये बिल्कुल सही है कि ये लोग हलाक हुए हैं।
जी जी।
A mosque worker near the stricken Jabba terror camp not only vouched for the Indian airstrikes, he also spoke about casualties in the Pakistan army. That suggests the raided Jaish camp was protected by Pakistani soldiers. Our special investigation team's reporters next contacted a cleric from a mosque in another Balakot neighborhood. Rahman recounts the Indian Air Force raid as a doomsday moment, Qayamat ka manzar. He confirms that the airstrikes left a building badly damaged.
एक मकान है उसकी डैमेज हुई है, मकान की।
आप वहीं थे जब जब्बा में हमला हुआ है?
जी बिल्कुल, ये सुबह 3 बजे का वक्त था और इतनी धमाके से इतनी जोरदार आवाज थी कि बेहिसाब लोग अपने घरों से बाहर निकल आए थे कि एक कयामत सुगरा का मंजर था।
4 explosions, damaged infrastructure and army casualties in Balakot. Remember, Pakistan has been consistently denying deploying its F-16s against India. When India produced the evidence, it refused to own up. Part of an advanced missile from an F-16 that the Indian Air Force downed. But at Bhimber in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, the truth comes tumbling out when our team dialed the city police station, posing again as Pakistani military spies. An officer who picked up the phone reveals that the Pakistan Army has ordered the entire security establishment not to let out any information about the crashed warplane.
कैप्टन साहब, मेरी रिक्वेस्ट ये है कि आप जिस नंबर से बात कर रहे हैं वो नंबर नहीं आया।
अरे क्योंकि जीएचक्यू का नंबर है, मैं इंटेलिजेंस डिपार्टमेंट से बोल रहा हूँ। अरे मैं इंटेलिजेंस डिपार्टमेंट जीएचक्यू से बोल रहा हूँ, नंबर नहीं आया।
सर हमें हदायत है कि इस तरह की कोई इंफॉर्मेशन को लूज बात नहीं कर सकते।
अच्छा ये बताइए, आपको ये हिदायत किसने दी?
हेलो सर अफरान बाला ने दी है सर।
किसने?
आर्मी काम से भी हमारी अफरान की मीटिंग होती है, उसमें ये फैसले हुए हैं कि कोई ऐसी लूज बात नहीं करनी किसी के साथ।
Secrecy envelops the US-made F-16s in Pakistan. That's because the fighters were deployed against India in the post-Balakot aerial engagements, in violation of agreements that limit their use to counter-terror operations. Bhimber police official didn't deny the F-16 wreck. Instead, he obeyed the command when asked to guard the site where the jet had been felled after it was shot down by an Indian jet.
हेलो
ये
कैप्टन हनीफ बोल रहा हूँ मैं। आप एक काम करिए, जहाँ पर पाकिस्तान का हवाई जहाज क्रैश हुआ है वहाँ पर आप जाइए और वहाँ जाके पूरे एरिया को आप देखिए कि वहाँ कोई भी या हिंदुस्तान का कोई साफ़ी वहाँ पर ना पहुँच पाए। जहाँ पाकिस्तान का जहाज़ क्रैश हुआ है मैं वहाँ की बात कर रहा हूँ। किसी को खबर ना लगे कि हमारा हवाई जहाज़ क्रैश हुआ है।
ओके जी, ओके।
The most extensive intelligence about Balakot and the fallen F-16 is out at last. With Jamshed Khan, Ankit Kumar and Sushant Pathak, this is India Today's special investigation team.
This is the first evidence that we've got from inside Pakistan, locals in positions of authority near Balakot talking about what happened. And what's most important in the audio that you've just heard is that the local Maulvi talks about how soldiers of the Pakistani army were killed in the attack. Now, whether these were officers or Jawans, we do not know. Therefore, we're being completely factual. But what's very clear is that there were damages. The extent of damages still uncertain, but that we hit more than a tree, very clearly established from voices emerging from inside Pakistan. Joining us on this India Today special investigation, first I want to introduce Ankit Kumar from our special investigation team. He's worked with Jamshed and Sushant in putting that investigation that you've seen together. Jiten Jain joins us. He is an expert on digital technologies, is an expert in cyber security, is also an expert on India and Pakistan and given what's happening in the information warfare space. With us is Sushant Sareen. He's a senior fellow at the Observer Research Foundation. Kamar Chima is back with us. Kamar, good to have you back. I'm very happy to see you. You're looking a little disturbed already. You've been asking us for evidence. We brought out some evidence. And I look forward to hearing what you have to say, because Pakistan is completely so far been in denial. Now we've got exact telephone numbers. If Kamar or anybody, and I know that a lot of people in Pakistan are watching as well, if they want, we can give you exact numbers. You can call up these people and speak to them yourself, Kamar. Air Marshal Anil Chopra joins us. He's been a very senior, very respected Air Force officer. We've got Adil Singh Boparai of the Congress, and we've got Narendra Taneja of the BJP. So welcome to all our guests. I want first for Ankit to put this in perspective and explain why what we've shown is very consequential. A, what emerges is that Pak army soldiers were killed. People will watch this and say, why do I believe this, Maulvi? How do we know India Today has spoken to right people? इन्होंने अपने आगरा मेरठ में किसी से बात नहीं करनी.
Well, while we expose Pakistan's fakery, it's also important, Rahul, to tell our viewers how we did this investigation. This is not some random voice sample that some of the channels have been presenting since morning. That this is the Balakot tapes. This is not just tapes. This is a real investigation. We started with collecting numbers from Balakot. We dialed about 200 numbers. Our initial cover was a businessman from Srinagar. That did not work out. Then we shifted to POK. We become a different businessman with a different business who wanted to donate some money. That also did not work out. Then we moved to Europe. We took cover of some NGO. That did not work out. It only started working when we took cover of Captain Hanif from GHQ. Now
GHQ is General Headquarters. That's the headquarters of the Pakistan Army. It's in Rawalpindi. Everyone in Pakistan, especially the likes of Imran Khan, know about GHQ very well. That's where they take the instructions from. Go on, Ankit.
Then we started making calls to people in Balakot, people in POK police stations, Bemba police station, Kotli police station, Neelam Valley police station, close to 200 people. When we started doing this investigation, two facts came out. First, the general line of answer was that no, we do not know about Balakot. We even tried to reach out to 25 Jaish commanders. We had the contact details from our intelligence sources. They all were given one single line. We have never heard about Balakot. We have never set a foot outside our own city. What we can show here is we can give you verifiable names, verifiable location, verifiable telephone numbers. You can go back to them. You can ask them if they are willing to say whether they talk to somebody in GHQ or not. That everything that we are putting together here is, putting out together is, everything is verifiable.
Okay, Jiten, the first thing is to establish the bona fides of this investigation, because the likes of Kamar Chima and others watching in Pakistan will say, oh, they've done it themselves. The fact is, we've dialed Pakistani numbers. Anybody who wants can check with us. We'll share those Pakistani numbers. You can trace them to Balakot and you can speak to them yourselves. Explain why you believe that what is being put out is very substantial and demonstrates what Pakistan is trying to deny.
See, what this story you have broken on this channel, it gives you a peep inside the high-grade Pakistani information warfare propaganda which has been running from last 3 weeks. You see, they have been operating at 3 levels. The entire ISPR machinery is hell-bent on challenging every narrative India draws, and it is working at multiple levels. First, they want to deny the legitimacy of Indian strike. It took us, and they seem to be, getting better at that. It took us 7 hours to formally announce when we struck the Pakistani terrorist. But ISPR, made all the announcement before India, and they started to draw the narrative. The first narrative was that Indian bombs fell off on some trees. They took journalists to talked to some people who said, a house has fallen, some people got injured, but there was no human casualty. Second narrative, to build on that propaganda of that, some trees have fallen, they even went on to file an FIR. So entire narrative in Indian media or international media or Pakistani media is about how many trees fell, not about how many people were killed. The entire debate has shifted from how many terrorists were killed in Pakistan to how many trees fell. Second, level is that filling so much of misinformation that you change the entire trajectory of debate. For example, they started, circulating photos of an injured pilot who got injured in the, Bangalore air show, saying that he is the pilot of Indian Su-M30 who was hit by Pakistani missile. Second thing, you have got videos of submarines trying to enter into Pakistani waters. Third, you have got tapes of Hassan Siddiqui, the so-called Pakistani pilot which actually took down a MiG. We don't know whether it was he who took down a MiG, or it was an anti-aircraft missile, or it was some terrorist who fired a Stinger. But that tape has been circulating on all Pakistani channels, and where he claims that not only what we have struck or 2 planes, what we are seeing is only 30% of what we have done. We have actually hit missiles on 300 Indian troops. So in this entire narrative, there is a Pakistani ISPR machinery which says that we did target Indian military installations, we did log them, but we consciously did not drop the bombs at them. We actually dropped it at some other locations. So there is an admission that we were targeting military installations. Your pilot tape says that you were targeting military installations, but at the same time nobody wants to own up to this. And entire world narrative is about that India is the aggressor, Pakistan is the one who wanted peace, Pakistan did not kill Indian troops, and at the same time it has turned into a spear where if India takes an action tomorrow, we will be called the aggressor. So there is so much of information, there is so much of propaganda. And despite of all these tapes, ISPR goes on to say that we are the ones who are loving peace. We did not start this war.
I think that propaganda warfare that we've seen from the ISI in Pakistan needs to be demolished, and the investigation that we've put out has very specific details. I want you to listen just once to one key excerpt from the Balakot tapes, and then we'll go across to our other guests and get their reactions on this.
कितने लोग शहीद हुए होंगे हिंदुस्तानी हमले में?
ये मैंने देखा है 4-5 बंदे शहीद हुए हैं पाकिस्तान आर्मी के।
पाकिस्तान
तो बाकी का मुझे मालूम है जी, कोई आर्मी के कोई वहां के रहायशी थे।
पाकिस्तानी आर्मी के लोग शहीद हुए हैं
जी, आर्मी के हुए।
लेकिन ये बिल्कुल सही है कि ये लोग हलाक हुए हैं।
जी जी। एक मकान है उसकी डैमेज हुई है, मकान की।
आप वहीं थे जब जब्बा में हमला हुआ है?
जी बिल्कुल, ये सुबह 3 बजे का वक्त था और इतनी धमाके से इतनी जोरदार आवाज थी कि बेहिसाब लोग अपने घरों से बाहर निकल आए थे कि एक कयामत सुगरा का मंजर था। कैप्टन साहब, मेरी रिक्वेस्ट ये है कि आप जिस नंबर से बात कर रहे हैं वो नंबर नहीं आया।
अरे क्योंकि जीएचक्यू का नंबर है, मैं इंटेलिजेंस डिपार्टमेंट से बोल रहा हूँ। अरे मैं इंटेलिजेंस डिपार्टमेंट जीएचक्यू से बोल रहा हूँ, नंबर नहीं आया।
सर हमें बताया था कि इस तरह की कोई इंफॉर्मेशन लूज बात नहीं कर सकते।
अच्छा ये बताइए, आपको ये हिदायत किसने दी?
हेलो सर अफरान बाला ने दी है सर।
किसने?
आर्मी काम से भी हमारी अफरान की मीटिंग होती है, उसमें ये फैसले हुए हैं कि कोई ऐसी लूज बात नहीं करनी किसी के साथ।
They're very clearly trying to suppress the facts, Kamar Chima. The Pakistani army has told everyone in any position around Balakot to stay shut. If nothing happened and we only bombed trees, why are they so afraid that the truth will come out? And what do you make of the local Maulvi in Balakot? If you want, I'll WhatsApp the number to you. You can also speak to him. He says that Pak army soldiers died. Not just did we kill Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists, the Air Force also killed Pak army soldiers, in the words of the local Maulvi at Balakot.
Well, Rahul, after humiliation and frustration of Indian Air Force, this is a new law of Indian media. You cannot save your IF with these fake tapes and doctored videos. Let me tell you, I have a report of the Reuters. Come on, the Planet Labs is telling us the high resolution images, the fake high resolution images which you gave to the media, which have proven wrong. When everything you have proven wrong, there is no evidence.
I want to come back here on this.
One second.
First of all,
one second. We have aired some audio tapes of people in Balakot. They're telling us exactly what happened. So let's not shift the goalpost and start talking about pictures that were taken, Jiten Jain, many days
No, we
later.
will come on to the writer's propaganda. Indian Air Force had used Spice 2000 bomb, which actually goes inside the building. The building does not go off. It goes inside the building. It penetrates inside the building. So the actual structure, when a Spice 2000 bomb is used, may never go off. And this is what the whole writer propaganda is all about. Just because the building still stands, there was no damage. Sorry, you know, you look at the videos of Spice 2000 being used from Israeli Air Force by other countries. All the structures, even the thinnest structures from this one will always stand. But the people inside the structures will die. And number two, who told writers that India's dropped bombs at this place, you know, that location? It may have been, sorry, it was your country, it may have been ISI, which may have, you know, collected that fallen bomb and, you know, wreckages of bomb and put it at the side. Nobody knows where the exact bomb was dropped. You have simply picked up a payload from somewhere else and dropped it in between those trees, and then all those international journalists are being taken and, you know, hosted by ISI or those locations. How does writers know where the Indian Air Force dropped the bomb? Sorry, please don't fall for that propaganda.
Kamar Chima, the fact is, you've got the local Maulvi of the Balakot mosque, 2 of them. We can send you his number. He himself is saying that Pak army soldiers were killed.
When those high resolution images proved wrong, now you are saying we have a Maulvi in hand. Come on, yaar. कोई काम की बात करो. पहले टेक्नोलॉजी
बहुत बढ़िया बात है.
अभी बंदा पकड़ दिया खुद ही.
अरे साहब, the high resolution showed the house of Osama bin Laden also. You always denied. Where is the question of high resolution images? You never admitted that Osama bin Laden was there. Your minister says that Daesh does not exist in Pakistan. On the other hand, your same minister says in an interview that we have spoken to Maulana Saab and he is not well. He is in ICU. And then you deny that Daesh does not exist in Pakistan. These tapes have, you know, exposed the entire propaganda of ISI and ISPR that you are a terrorist state which fund, which host, which protects terrorists.
Okay, I want to get reactions. One second. What's very clear, Sushant Sareen, is that with the Pakistanis, we'll make no headway. No matter, even if you show the face of the Jaish terrorist you killed and the Pak army soldier who died, Kamar Chima and his ilk will be in denial. But what we've got, and I want you to comment on that, is substantial. You've got local police officials, you've got local Maulvis, and in the second part in the investigation, you'll hear Jaish commanders talking about the damage that was caused, and he's talking about Pak army soldiers being killed. Sushant Sareen, your views on Balakot tapes?
Rahul, I think congratulations to your team for pulling off what I would call an information coup, doing a real good investigative work. But the Pakistani reaction does not surprise me. Do you remember after 26/11, Faridkot was supposed to be in India, not in Pakistan. Then they discovered that yes, there is a Faridkot in Pakistan. And then the police clamped down out there and everybody simply denied that there was any Kasab out there. There was, this Ajmal Kasab was from that place. That is the standard operating procedure. There is a blanket which is put over a place so that no information can go out. I think we must give the Pakistanis credit for the way they play this information game and the way they cover up their tracks, or at least try to cover up their tracks. But truth has a bad way of coming out. Whether it was after the attacks, when you remember, you guys or one of the other Indian channels traced out the madrasa from where one of the guys who was involved in the Gurdaspur attacks from the Pathankot attack, the fellow who was talking to his mother, he was traced. Then after the surgical strikes, somebody else did a sting operation and found out that this kind of an action had actually happened. And now you guys have pulled this one off. So congratulations to you. But it doesn't surprise me that, because if the Pakistanis were to admit, then somebody like this Ghafoor fellow, who is their ISPR chief, would have egg on his face for a very simple reason that just a few days before the strikes happened, he was saying that you will not be able to surprise us, but we will surprise you. And suddenly the Pakistani Air Force and the armed forces were caught napping when the Indian Air Force went across not just the LOC but the international border and bombed the hell out of that terrorist training camp. Now for the Pakistanis to take people into an open field and show that, only trees have been hit, what has prevented the Pakistanis from taking journalists to the place which is supposed to be in the eye of the storm, where the attacks actually took place? Why is access to that particular place being denied? And for how long will it be denied? Sometimes it's the weather is bad, sometimes it's not an opportune time. It's been almost 2 weeks. What has prevented journalists from going out there? And journalists who've tried to, Kamarji was talking about the Reuters guy, but the Reuters guy was prevented, was not given access to that particular building, which is supposed to have been targeted by these munitions. So exactly. So this is the point that, you know, they're trying to cover up their tracks, because this larger than life image which the Pakistan army has built for itself, that it not only interferes in politics, it arrogates to itself bulk of the budget of the Pakistani state, impoverishing the rest of the country. How do they then justify all these expenses and shadi halls and other things which they maintain, bakeries and what have you, including apparently now they are into the oil business as well.
Okay, I want to get a reaction from Air Marshal Anil Chopra as well.
Clearly, the only way they can justify it is that they are protecting their country, which they are not able to.
Our investigation very clearly shows that Pak army soldiers were killed, apart from Jaish terrorists. We're also very clear now on the basis of all the calls that we made, that there is a very strict order for radio silence, that don't say anything about Balakot, and that message has gone out to everyone in that area. Those are things our investigation captures very, very clearly and undisputedly. Air Marshal Chopra. Give me a moment, I'll fix that video line with the Air Marshal. Let me go across to Narendra Taneja of the BJP. It's very clear that Pakistan is trying at this moment a massive cover-up. So if we're expecting that the international media will be taken to the right spot where the attack happened, that isn't going to happen, because Pakistan is attempting a very major cover-up, and that comes through most clearly in the Balakot tapes that we've just carried on India Today. Narendra Taneja from the BJP.
Rahul, first of all, congratulations to your team. I think they've done a fantastic work and a great service to the country, and I hope that it will now silence all those people like Kamar Chima and others, and also on this side of the border, you know, with this evidence. 3 quick points. Number one, your tapes very clearly established, Pakistan has used F-16 against the agreement they have with the United States. Number one, they have used. Number two, comes out very clearly, you know, the F-16, now evidence is there that it was actually brought down by the Indian Air Force. And Pakistani army personnel involved, whether they were training them or the instructors there, or they actually managed the entire terrorist scheme, that's also very clear now. And the third point, which basically is very important, the description of the Qayamat ki Raat, Qayamat, you know, Qayamat ka manzar, Qayamat, this clearly shows the kind of effect it had not only on that particular area but around it, because you have also spoken with other people. Now this is what it is. Now let them be on denial. Does matter what Mr. Chima has to say and all that. The point is the message has gone through. Those who should actually, the message was meant for, they've got the message now, and they can go for cover up and all that. And that's another reason that, you know, they keep referring to Reuters report and all that, and satellite pictures and all that. Why don't you show the satellite pictures of the first morning? That they are not showing. The satellite picture of the first morning, satellite picture they are referring to are 3 days old. In the meantime, what they did, they just covered the whole thing. That's, Pakistan is known for that. Now the point here is that you have done a fantastic job. Evidence is very clear, and now those who still want to keep, as you were saying, that you have got the phone numbers and all that, they can do that. What Pakistan said does matter. Their cover-up thing has failed miserably, and fantastic job by your team.
You're watching the Balakot tapes. I now present to you part 2 of this India Today special investigation. In this part, you will see what happened when the India Today special investigation team dialed the telephone numbers on the advertisements put out by the Jaish-e-Mohammed in Pakistani media. Remember, there is supposed to be a big clampdown on the activities of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Is that clampdown for real? Is it just a sham? We spoke to the commanders whose numbers are listed. They themselves explain where they stand in the Jaish and how they're still willing to accept money. Sit back and watch part B of this India Today investigation, the Balakot tapes.
Pakistan first owned up to harboring Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Maulana Masood Azhar.
Is the chief of Jaish-Mohammed, Masood Azhar, is he present in Pakistan? And if so, will you go after him?
Well, he is in Pakistan. According to my information, he is very unwell. He is unwell to the extent that he cannot leave his house because he's really unwell.
And then took a 180-degree turn on international media a week later.
Jaish-e-Mohammed does not exist in Pakistan. It has been proscribed by United Nations also and Pakistan also.
Next were tall claims about its clampdown on terror. But India today has punched holes in Pakistan's disinformation warfare. Our investigative team have found Jaish-e-Mohammed brazenly skimming funds from foreign donors. Despite the Pakistani state's anti-terror announcements post-Pulwama. Our probe tracked the terror group's fundraising activities through its propaganda weekly called Al-Kalam. This Jaish-e-Mohammed mouthpiece is published from Peshawar city by this man. Talha Saif, a close associate of Masood Azhar and head of the group's propaganda wing. Talha Saif's name features prominently in India's dossier to Pakistan. Our investigative team scrutinized all previous issues closely. We zeroed in on this advertisement seeking funds on behalf of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. And when our investigative reporters reached out to the people named in the advertisement, we found they're still raising finances across Pakistan. Taking the cover of a Dubai businessman of Pakistani origin, our reporters first contacted Mohammad Riaz, a fundraiser mentioned in the Jaish advertisement. Riaz confirmed his identity and suggested we get in touch with another Jaish-e-Mohammed man in Lahore to deliver donations. Assuming, we called him from Pakistan's Punjab province.
मैं जब्बार बोल रहा था अस्सलाम वालेकुम
वालेकुम सलाम
किन साहब से बात हो रही है मैं अज़म ग्रामी जान सकता हूँ आपका हेलो मोहम्मद रियाज साहब आपका इश्तहार मैंने देखा था
अच्छा
हाँ तो
मैं तो कराची में होता हूँ जो तो हमारे साथी होते हैं वहाँ के
जी
इसमें पंजाब का नंबर होगा और मरकजी नंबर लिखा होगा जहाँ आपने मेरा नंबर देखा है
आपका जो अखबार जो निकलता है उसमें से मैंने आपका नंबर देखा है
नहीं इस पे बलूचिस्तान का नंबर लिखा है ना ये मेरा
हाँ
आप लाहौर में तो आपको पंजाब वाले नंबर पे राब्ता करना चाहिए या मरकजी नंबर पे मैं आपको नंबर लिखवाता हूँ
मुनकर राब्ता ये किन साहब का नंबर है रियाज साहब
ये
अब्दुल्ला नदीम साहब हैं
ये अब्दुल्ला नदीम भाई होंगे
A Jaish-e-Mohammed fundraiser confirmed their men are spread across Pakistan, collecting donations right under the nose of federal and provincial governments. When contacted again, Mohammad Riaz offered his personal bank account to deposit the money.
हाँ नंबर लिखवा दीजिए मुझे अकाउंट नंबर जैश का
तो अकाउंट नंबर नहीं है कोई भी
हाँ
मेरा अपना साथी है वो मैं आपको लिखवा देता हूँ
हाँ हाँ आप
इंशाल्लाह मैं दे दूंगा साथी को यहाँ
ये बैंक कौन सी है जनाब
ये मोहम्मद रियाज के नाम से ये बैंक इस्लामी है
बैंक इस्लामिक
जी ब्रांच ये आई है
और शहर कौन सा होगा
कराची
शहर कराची
मोहम्मद रियाज के नाम से 100
A Jaish-e-Mohammed operative using his personal account in a financial institution of Pakistan. The Karachi-based Bank Islami. Riaz boasted such transactions attract no surveillance.
कि अभी मैं जो आपको इमदाद दूंगा आपके पैसे आपके अकाउंट में जो पैसे डालूंगा तो मेरे लिए कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं होगी क्योंकि पाकिस्तान में जैश पे जिस तरीके से पाबंदियां लगाई जा रही है इमरान खान की जो सरकार है उसकी तरफ से।
नहीं, कोई मतलब नहीं, ये तो मेरा प्राइवेट अकाउंट है, किसी को तो नहीं है।
तो आप ये पैसे पहुंचा देंगे ना जैश को?
A haven for terror financing, Pakistan continues to raise and feed jihadi groups, no matter what it claims on international platforms. With Jamshed Khan, Ankit Kumar and Sushant Pathak, this is India Today's special investigation team.
What's very clear through part 2 of this India Today investigation is that the Jaish's finances are still operating. There is absolutely no dispute about that. Sushant Sareen, if they make it seem as if there's been a clampdown and if anybody starts to believe it, you have to be highly naive. The Jaish commanders listed on that telephone number are giving us their private bank account details saying, "Isme bhejo, I will ensure it reaches the terrorists. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, and that is exactly why, the charade which the Pakistanis are putting up, that they are following the FATF guidelines or the instructions which the FATF have given them, why they sound so hollow. Because they've done all the window dressing, they've passed all the so-called regulations and they've made all the noises, but at the operational level, they've also figured out ways on how you can skirt around and circumvent all these regulations and rules, which is precisely what has been the problem even in the past. In the past, what used to happen is that these groups were informed beforehand. Even this time around, they had been informed beforehand that there will be some action being taken against them, and most of these guys had been asked to go back home to lie low for a couple of months until this FATF storm passes them by, and then they'll figure out a way of getting them back into business. In the past, they used to inform these fellows, they used to empty out the accounts, so when those accounts were frozen, you had a pittance which of an amount which was actually frozen. So this has been going on for very long. And it clearly shows you the insincerity of the Pakistanis in clamping down on these fellows, in curbing their activities, and in stopping the kind of finances which go to these people.
Adil Singh Boparai of the Congress is also with us. Adil, the opposition has been asking the government for proof. India Today putting out completely independently telephonic conversations with those who are in Balakot, local Maulvis, local police officials, and they're telling us about the damage that happened. So I hope now the opposition, in the manner in which you've been attacking the government, that business will stop. The fact is that damages happened. One of the Maulvis in fact tells us that even Pak army soldiers were killed, which Pakistan is completely denied.
Well, Rahulji, nobody in this country doubts the authenticity or the impact of the airstrike. The confusion had erupted because there were ministers of the BJP giving different numbers, and that's how this question was asked. But be that as it may, once the Air Chief Marshal has made a statement, we stand by it. We did hit their targets, and to expect the Pakistani deep state to come to terms with this is going to be an exercise in futility, because they've got a track record. Even if you catch their pilot, they're capable of saying he's not our pilot. Be that as it may, the real issue today is what's next from here. And there are 2-3 areas where we feel that the government has been wanting. The first is countering Pakistan propaganda. Pakistan has been successful in trying to paint us in bad light in the international media. I think the government's efforts have been found wanting here. The second point is about the diplomatic overreach. Today you have a situation where the Kashmir issue has been internationalized. The Saudis have a view on this, the Emiratis have a view on this, the Americans have a view on this, the EU has a view on this. Our consistent position has been that this is a bilateral dispute and has to be sorted out between India and Pakistan. And lastly, this is very critical because we in India are capable of taking a 180-degree view. as far as the issue of Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. The fact that the government is not even able to hold state elections in Jammu and Kashmir, I think is telling. There is more which needs to be done. The sense of alienation in Jammu and Kashmir is unprecedented. There is a dramatic rise in local recruitment. For the first time after 1996, we've had to delay state elections.
No, I want to keep our attention squarely focused on the Balakot tapes. You've asked a question about elections not being held in Jammu and Kashmir. I'll let Narendra Taneja very briefly respond to it, but our focus today is on the Balakot tapes. Mr. Taneja, very quick.
Rahul, you see, I think you have produced now the evidence that Mr. Qureshi, the finance minister, foreign minister of Pakistan, has been asked. I hope now he is satisfied and he will initiate action against Jaish-e-Mohammed. He's told CNN, he told me, we're waiting for the credible evidence. Here is the credible evidence. What more you need? Now the question is, and I hope Mr. Rahul Gandhi and the leadership of the Congress party, they're watching your show because they have been asking for the evidence. They have been questioning. They have been questioning it. The fact is they have questioned every single decision of this government and the Balakot.
You see, Rahul, this is the whole problem.
Okay, Jiten Jain wants to come in because this, yes, Jiten.
See, this is the whole problem. When I said that Pakistani IW propaganda machinery is operating at multiple levels, one is to deny the legitimacy of Indian strike by calling terrorists as trees. Second is to spread misinformation about everything, how many jets fell, where it fell. Third is exaggerating the existing political differences between Indian political parties. Now, in a democracy, it's good to ask questions, it's good to agree and disagree, but we must never give a chance to our adversary, especially in a wartime, to run a propaganda which suits them. Please do not ask questions. I mean, how does it matter whether 300 died or 30 died? Aapko unke janaze pe thodi jana hai. And second question, look at what Pakistan has done. You know, see, Parvez Musharraf said जब कारगिल का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हुआ कि साहब वो तो 2-3 हजार मुजाहिद वहां पे बैठे, हमारा कोई लेना देना नहीं. Now that same gentleman, the highest product of factory of lies from Rawalpindi, their army chief Parvez Musharraf 5 years later says that नहीं वो तो हमारे नॉर्दर्न लाइन इन्फेंट्री के 1500 जवान थे. वो आपके जवान जो जब मर गए, आपने पाकिस्तान ने उनको कभी अपना जवान नहीं माना, तो इनसे आप क्या एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे? आज when the minister says Jaish does not, you know, the army, Ghafoor says that Jaish does not exist in Pakistan. Minister says he is at his home, he is highly unwell. So at the same time, when they say that there has been a clampdown in Jaish, understand they are very closely intertwined. On this channel, in this massive expose, you have the name of the person. Ghafoor Saab, you know, quotes all the Indian TV channels in his press conference. I'm sure he can watch this channel also. There is a number of that person which has been given in Pakistani media, Al-Kalam Akhbar ke andar. Aap usko sun lijiye, nahi to India Today dekh lijiye. Please have the name of that person, have the account number of that person, have the mobile number of that person. He has given his address also. Now go and arrest him.
Okay.
These are the guys who are roaming around public domain.
Jitin makes an important point, Adil Singh Boparai. How does it matter कि 30 मरे कि 300? आपने उनके जनाजे पे तो नहीं जाना, he asks.
Give me 30 seconds.
Well, Rahulji, to Mr. Jain's specific point, the Congress party never asked for proof. We raised a question when the BJP tried to politicize these military strikes for electoral ends. That's where we raised an issue and we said this is not done. It was divergent voices, discordant voices within the BJP who had said several things. You had SS Ahluwalia saying that there were no human casualties. You had Amit Shah saying 250. We are not interested. We are not interested in knowing the number of casualties. Once the Air Chief Marshal has said that we've hit the targets, that is sufficient for the Congress party. But the larger issue today is what's next.
You have been asking for the evidence.
Pakistan deep state to take action against these groups is asking for too much.
Okay, Narendra Taneja,
respond. These are groups nurtured for decades. They continue to wield enormous influence. The OIC resolution literally saying that we occupy India is a damning indictment of this
Sorry,
government.
boss, BJP says Congress is the hero of Pakistan and Congress says Modi is the hero of Pakistani media. Shame on you guys.
This is not the time. This is the time.
One at a time. We can't debate like this. Adil Singh Boparai has spoken. His fader now goes down. One at a time. I will not allow this to degenerate. Narendra Taneja will counter Adil Singh Boparai and then Sushant Sareen.
I have very simple thing. Just listen to what the Congress leadership has said. Listen to what Mr. Digvijay Singh said. Listen to what the chief spokesperson said. They have been asking for the evidence, and the fact they have asked for the evidence on Balakot has been used on the floor of Pakistan's parliament. Pakistani media has used it on prime time. So language is, spoken by the Congress leaders and spoken by Mr. Qureshi, the foreign minister. Identical language.
Sushant Sareen.
Same.
Sushant Sareen.
Identical language. Identical language.
Nobody
That's the
asked for
problem.
proof.
Sushant Sareen, please.
Aluwalia was the cause of the controversy.
The single most
Shah was the cause of the controversy. You
Sushant Sareen, please.
Rahul
also said so.
Rahul, 3 quick points. Number 1, I think what your expose does is that it proves, it gives a lie to what the Pakistanis have always maintained, this fiction of non-state actors. The fact that there were Pakistani military officers or soldiers or whatever present out there, either on guard duty or as trainers, exposes that lie of Pakistan, and I think that is very important. Secondly, I completely agree that the government's way of public outreach and giving out the message has been extremely faulty. But just as the government has been extremely faulty on national security messaging or public outreach, the Congress party has been extremely faulty in how it handles these kind of information and the kind of narrative it puts out, and is only damaging itself. And finally, just a point of clarification, that the main OIC resolution did not even mention the word Jammu and Kashmir. It was an OIC contact group of about 4 or 5 countries, most of which, pass a resolution on Kashmir simply because Pakistan is a part of it, and nobody really takes that very seriously anyway. So for the Congress party to do some grandstanding on the basis of that particular OIC contact group resolution and conflate it with the main resolution, which did not even mention the word Jammu and Kashmir, I think it's not fair to the country and to the country's diplomacy.
And so the fact is that those OIC resolutions, there are dozens of resolutions that get passed, the Foreign Secretary told us, and they're not even debated. So it's not as if Pakistan scored a big victory, they just get passed no matter what the resolution is coming from any of the Islamic member countries. Kamar Chima, it's very clear that your script won't, it's like this tape that gets stuck. Your script isn't going to change. You and Ghafoor are perfectly aligned. He's lying and you're, out here tom-tomming his lie and trying to amplify it. The Jaish commanders and their telephone number is on the ad. If you're wondering where we got the number from, sir, aap hi ke media mein ad. We dialed that number and he's saying, mere account mein de do. I will pass it on to the Jaish. So this whole notion of a clampdown is a complete charade, Kamar Chima.
Well, I think, Rahul, the entire India is confused at what has happened in Balakot. You people are not even sure what to talk and what not to talk. One thing, international media has exposed you bitterly, and this was not which you can have any control on that. Second, the third thing is that these fake videos and fake audios which you are producing by India Today does not make your case strong.
No, but how do you know it's fake?
Factory of fake videos, Baba. You are the one who recorded the videos of that.
Kamar Chima, the way to deal with it is,
you put down that video, the exact video, without any cut in the public domain. If you have guts, do it. You put the unedited video of Wing Commander Abhinandan in public domain. If you have any morality, ethics left, do it. Do it without the guts. Do it.
The Foreign Office has no proof what has happened.
You do it. You put the video of our pilot as a confession which you are boasting to the entire world. I challenge you to put that entire video without any cut in the public domain, and I'll salute you.
No, Kamar Chima, calm down. Kamar Chima, why do you start shouting? Calm down. Sir, whether the video is edited or not, एक बार आप video देख तो लो. Kamar Chima, you're making a fool of yourself. Kamar Chima, you're making a fool of yourself. पहले आप एक बार वीडियो देख तो लो सर, फिर डिसाइड करो ना कि एडिटेड है नहीं है, असली है नकली है, देखो तो सही. Why we did a full audio video forensic examination of the Adil Dar tapes. We are saying we can send it to you. Turn it straight around. We can give to anybody who is looking for evidence the full video. Analyze it. I'm sure your team knows how to do forensics. Do some digital forensics. Figure out whether it is real, then come back to us. फिर बात करते हैं. आपने देखा नहीं. You have one line that you've been told by the ISI to go out and mouth on Indian TV कि ये fake है ना. Without having seen the tape, without having heard it, you're trying to make it out to be fake. That is completely fake, and your fakes are busted. The point is, very crucially, in this investigation, we've got local police officials talking about how they've been told not to go to the area where the F-16 crashed. They've been told that very, very clearly. They know where it is. They've been told not to go there, not to talk about it. That message very clear from General Headquarters of the Pakistani Army. The second message very clearly is that Pak Army soldiers died. This we are hearing for the first time, coming from a Maulvi at the Balakot Mosque. Anybody wants his number, I'll send the number to you. आप भी बात करके देख लो, see what he has to say. That is the kind of evidence we have. Specific numbers, specific locations. The point is, in Pakistan, nobody's going to believe it because they're believing their own terror propaganda. In India, at least, for all those who've been questioning whether or not there was any damage at all, whether we just hit trees, I think our investigation today, in the voices that we've heard from inside Pakistan, provides some answers.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.